G'day everyone, it's Sam Mackay from Enterprise DNA. Today we're going to go over custom calendar techniques. Now, specifically we're going to look at month-on-month change. So I find in a lot of cases these custom calendars are confusing a lot of people out there, mainly because it's actually quite hard, and you have to understand a number of things around how DAX works and how to actually utilize many DAX functions at once to get the result you want. Now the problem with these custom calendars, right, is that you can't use the native time intelligence functions because you may be looking at things by financial year or the 455 calendars or something of that nature, and it's just unfortunate that the time intelligence calculations, whilst are very smart and make your life very easy if you're using a custom calendar, unfortunately they don't actually work over these custom ones. So I've got a couple other videos on this though, so this is just another one to this series that are certainly worth checking out. But in this case, what I'm going to show you is how you can find out the month-on-month change. So we're going to look at the absolute number, and we're also going to look at the percentage change. Now, before we get to there, we've got to implement some logic, which is a little bit tougher. Or it just takes a little bit more to get your head around before we actually get to that point, and that's actually working out the previous month's sales. So if we have a look at this table here, you'll see that I've got total sales here, which is a very simple calc. So that's just generic total sales calc that I use in many of my examples. And now that's easy, right? Because all you got to do is put that onto a particular context from your customer calendar. And so I've got fin year and I've also got fin month, and that automatically goes and filters the table, the underlying fact table, and then gives me my total sales amount. And so if we look down the list, that's a relatively simple calc. That's no different to if you just had a normal calendar. But where the issue comes in, let's have a look over here. Let's have a look at this table on the left-hand side. Let's have a look at this fin month number, and we'll come to the end of, say, well, this is the last week in the financial year of this particular calendar. And so obviously this is the last day, but look at the actual date. It's the 27th of April. And so really weird date, right? And then you jump into the new financial year and you're not even into the new month. And so that's where it gets a little bit confusing, and where we've got to build some logic here to get the previous month's sales, because we can't go look at any particular month. We have to go look at a particular number. We need to work with this financial month number column. Okay, so I've set up the formula. I'm not going to write it out because there's actually a bit to it, but I'm going to walk you through it slowly so that you can actually try and get an understanding of how you could actually write this out yourself. And as always, you can download this resource just via a small investment. You can check that out in the description below if you want to actually ultimately copy this formula into your own models. But let's have a look. Okay, so I've used variables here, and I highly recommend it because it enables you to break out these formulas as intuitively as you can. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So first of all, we've got to work out, okay, well, what is the current month that we're in any particular context? And that's what this selected value does. It goes and says, okay, well, if we are on the 10th month in 2014, then that's going to return 10. And then if we look at current year, it's doing exactly the same thing. That's going to, if we look at exactly the same row here, that's going to return 2014. And this one here, what we're doing here is we're trying to work out, well, what is the max month number? That's all that this is doing. So we're looking at the max financial month number across all of that calendar table. Basically, this is going to return the number 12. And I'll show you why in a second we need to actually get this number. Okay, and then let's forget about this one at the moment. Let's just jump down to the core measure in here. So let's have a look at this one in here. So what we're going to do is we are going to sum up total sales. That's exactly what we're trying to do here. But we're going to sum up total sales in a different context, because think about logically what we're trying to do. We're trying to jump back to the previous financial year month and go and grab that number and bring it into the current context. So if we look at this row down here, 2014. Month 10, well, we need to actually jump back to month 9, this 1.356 million, and drag it into the 10th month. So that's exactly what this logic and this formula is doing. So what we're doing is we're saying, okay, well, go and have a look through the calendar table, and if the current month is 1, so if the current month is 1, then go and find the 12th month of the year before, because that's where we have to go and work out this dynamic. That's what this calc is brought in to do. In theory, what we could do is we actually could just write a 12 in there, because there's always going to be 12 months, right? But this is just another way to dynamically do it. I use a similar technique if we're doing a week-on-week change, for example. But anyway, this is going to evaluate to 12, but then we want to jump back and say, look at the year before. So if we're in 2015, month 1, we want to jump back to the 12th month in 2014, and that's how we drag that number down there. And then if it's not the first month, then all we've got to do is go and jump back in the current year back 1 month, right? And that's what this line of the code is doing. Okay, so I've gone over a little bit there. I've walked you through it step by step. Hopefully that makes sense, right? But this is this. I think this maybe looks a little bit more complicated than it actually is. It's just a matter of getting your head around a few different formulas there, right? And that's why, as I said right at the beginning of this video, custom calendars can be a little bit confusing, because you just got to understand a few formulas to make them all work in together. Okay, so once we've got this calc, because we're trying to work out month on month, right? So we have this calc, right? And I put it into a table. I always recommend putting these into a table so you can see the numbers, just so you can make sure that they're correct. And very quickly I can identify, well, these are correct. And then all we've got to do from here is, well, we've just got to go total sales minus the previous month's sales. And all I've done is I've put a bit of blank logic in here to say, well, if there is no previous month's sales, then make sure it's blank. So this top number here in the table is actually blank, because we don't want to bring it through, because it's just an erroneous number, doesn't make any sense. And then from there, to get the month on month percentage change, then all we've got to do is then go divide month on month change by the previous month's sales. So there you have it. That's how you work out month on month change for a custom calendar. So little bit to it, and that's just unfortunately the case with custom calendars. There's just no way around that. The time intelligence calcs are absolutely brilliant, but they only work over those standard calendar tables, which just unfortunately isn't the case for all businesses out there. So hopefully with these custom calendar videos that I've created, you can you can get some way down the line, so that you can understand how these actually work in your own models, and you can implement them in your own models. That's the key. That's what I want you to achieve. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, you can download it. Just check out the description below for that. It just requires a small investment. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're liking this content from Enterprise DNA, then certainly subscribe, because I'm putting out heaps, and you'll get it as soon as it's out. Okay, all the best with this one. Take care. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Enterprise DNA TV. If you enjoyed the content covered in this particular tutorial, please throw the video a like. It really helps us, and we really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Enterprise DNA TV channel. We have a huge amount of content coming out all the time from myself and a range of content creators, all dedicated to improving the way that you use Power BI and the Power Platform. Lastly, check out Enterprise DNA's website. Plenty of resources and further learning that you can access very easily. All the best. Take care.